So here's a quick update on where we are in our You Pick Flower Farm dream. The spot that we are trying to get is 5-acre lot in town. I've had to go to the city and talk with the planning department. I've had to make a business plan and submit that to them. I'm gonna put in photos somewhere on here so you can see what I'm talking about. So I've went to the city planner, and his concern was the way I presented it verbally to him was it sounded like a farm, too agricultural for the zone that's in. The zone that the property is in is a general commercial zone. And so the plan that we made up on PowerPoint to present to the planning committee, we steered it towards retail business, so that there's not an issue with the zoning. Our vision and mission, and with changing the identity, we changed the name of it, and we have it as Lavender May Cut and Come Again Craft and Open Air Flower Market. We used wordage that was in the actual zoning code. So we put in privately owned business, and that we're open to the public for seasonal retail, as well as public and privately hosted events. So because the property is a 5-acre lot, we only plan on using 1 acre for the first year to do the cut flower farm. So we have the whole 4 acres that we need to utilize so that we're able to afford that piece of land. Ona's idea was to do open air markets, so craft fairs, all kinds of vendor events, to include local artists and their fare, the stuff that they make. And in turn, having those markets while the flower farm is open, that's going to bring in so much more revenue. We're going to get so many more people into the farm, and it's going to get more people knowing about the farm. Also in the vision mission, we wanted to make sure to include our goals for the community service and what our dream is to give to the community. And you can read all of that in here. Our next slide that we have is the what the acre or what the property looks like now, and just some flowers to give an idea of what we're trying to do. Our next page is the site map of what we plan on it looking like. This was just a rough draw out, or a rough idea. Now, this isn't. This was just for the sake of the city and the planning. So we put in the flower market would be in the back. The flower farm would be in the back of the property. We have an area for photography. We have the area for like a play area, like a little playground area. We have a hand washing station and hydration station. And then the whole front area, you see, that would be about 4 acres, and that's where we would do our open markets. We included our evacuation plan, and we included to put in where the city utilities are. So we have the water. It shows where the water is. It shows where the fire hydrants are. In the front, we are going to do the landscaping, and we made sure to put that is going to be that's going to be drought tolerant, California native plants. We have an area for employee parking. We have deliveries along the emergency exit. We have a spot where we put the porta potties, and we made sure to put in that we were going to have security surveillance, and that's going to be stored in a cloud for 30 days. We made sure to include our insurance policy, or the type of insurance that we're going to carry. We are planning on having the whole area, the whole 5 acres, mulched with wood chips from local arborists. And we made sure to include that we're going to have handicap bathrooms. This page, we put in our business hours and etc. We put our months of operation for this year, projected for this year, our months of operation projected for next year, We put that we were family owned and operated. 2 to 3 employees throughout the season for seasonal and educational internships. Plus, we plan to support local needs, immersions, and rehabilitation programs for handicap or socially challenged individuals. So that I plan to source employees through programs, special needs programs that the county provides, or that the county, through the county. That way I'm supporting our local community and those in need. We put in our daily traffic, what we expect it to be, and special events to be announced. We expect to have a 3-year lease with the option to extend with the owner. This was the title page. And then we ran into another issue. So the water. There is no water on the actual property. The water is, there is water outside of the property. However, there's no water extending into the property. So we talked to the city, to the water department, to the public works, to the water department, and we talked to the superintendent. And after Ona talked to him, he was very supportive, but with the water superintendent, he stated that we would need a general contractor to come in. We would have to hire a general contractor to come in and put in the plumbing, put in the water line from the water main on the sidewalk into the property. That's going to be a fee that we would have to pay. We would have to find our own contractor for that. I'm sure he'd give suggestions, but I'm sure we know people that we can reach out to. That's going to be an added expense that we hadn't even considered. Another expense that we have figured in was porta potties. So what I didn't know was that handicap porta potties are more expensive than a basic porta potty, which it boggles my mind, because why should handicapped people have to pay more? Or why should public have to pay more for handicapped people? It just doesn't seem fair to me. However, we made sure in our expenses that we are going to have a handicap porta potty. It's a lot of our plan is to work with special needs, and so we absolutely need that to have that porta potty there. The porta potties are pretty inexpensive. We would pay a monthly fee. We would pay monthly to have it out there, and then there's a delivery fee. I think it's $100 to have a porta potty out there for a month, and for the handicap porta potty was $225. And those would be cleaned weekly. I also included just a rough planting plan with the rows. It was very, very generic, and it doesn't, it's not detailed at all, and it's not, I would be more detailed in my planting, and it's not my original main planting plan. What we go with, we have to see. After talking to the city planner today, he informed me that he's going to forward our business plan to his whole unit. He's going to get back to me, and he suspects that we will need to do either a minor permit or a major permit. The application time on those is a couple months, because we would fill out the application, submit it, and then it'd have to go to the whole planning council to be either approved or denied. We still don't know if the property owner is going to lease to us. We don't know how much he's expecting to get. We've kind of figured an amount that we can afford to give him. However, we don't know the cost for the general contractor yet. So that cost is gonna affect the amount that we can pay him. But at the same time, we're improving his property by adding that water line that is not there already. And so hopefully that's something that we can work with him on. So after talking to the city today, then I emailed the property owner, and I informed him of all the things that I've done. And I sent him a copy of the PowerPoint. Oh, and I've also ran numbers for the water usage, because the property owner was concerned about how much water usage that it was going to fit into our budget. I had to call the city and get the cost of water. And so from those numbers that they gave me, I then contacted an irrigation company that supplies irrigation drip line. Irrigation Drips, I believe it was called. I'm going to link it down below. And they were super informative. They have calculations on their website, and the lady that I talked to was able to direct me to a calculator that they had on their website and how to use that calculator. So from there, I was able to put in the amount of drip, the rows that I have, the drip tape that I expected to use, and that gave me a calculation of how much water I would use per hour, gallons per hour. And so I was able to figure the amount of water that I would use per week, and then I figured the amount of water that I would use for a month. And with the calculations that are with the prices that the city gave me for the water cost and the amount of water that I knew that I was going to use, I was able to figure out the amount of water that I would use monthly. That turned out to be about $500 a month, which is not bad. That was me watering with a 1/2 inch drip tape with 4-inch emitters, 2 per row, 1 day a week for 30 minutes. And it turned out to be $500 a month, about $500 a month. Now, some weeks is going to be more watering, some weeks is going to be less watering. We are doing most drought tolerant, warm loving flowers, so they won't need as much water. I know how much I watered last year, so I know that that's an accurate amount of water, amount of watering that I will be doing. I grew all of the flowers that I anticipate to grow. I grew them all last year, so I know the amount of water that I will be using. So I think that that's about it. That's where we're at. We're waiting. I'm waiting to hear back from the city planner again on our next step. And we'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with that, and stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That way we get more followers and more people, we get our videos out to more people.